former Cloud9 to Renegade. The duo that, by the way, ran undefeated for quite some time in 2v2s, now forced no longer to be teammates, but now separated enemies on the virtual battlefield. This game number one, there's so many implications on the line on top of the $25,000 that we're playing for. Tim, let's get right into it.
Yeah, this is gonna be a great matchup here. Recharge Oddball is our game number one, and like I mentioned before, we're talking about scrims, and you said it yourself, Tony. Scrims aren't everything, but they are the picture that we have in front of us to dissect right now. And this first game is going to be big implications on who takes over this series. And honestly, FaZe look really good in this scenario. And again, with Nick on the roster, you're going to focus on him. The top right of your screen, Nick at the top of the list. Can he continue to make this team rise in terms of skill and stats?
That camouflage just fought over both of the teams, emptying the tank to get away with it. But it looks like Renegade is able to steal that over from FaZe. So Cloud9 immediately starting the game off 3 down. FaZe get that ball in hands, and now it's snowballing from there right off of the start. Back-to-back 3 downs in favor of FaZe. Cloud9 are already starting on their back foot, but here comes StelluR.
And Renegade, you know, a former member of Cloud9, you know that Cloud9, he was very comfortable on that roster in terms of his play style. He was able to play around the Cloud9 roster, and now we're seeing with the addition of Nick, he looks a lot more comfortable here. So we'll continue to see if that comfort will turn into a statistical advantage for him.
He started to ring out. Renegade still doing a great job of holding on to that height advantage. There's a player over toward the goal side he's gonna have to deal with, and it's bound his replacement going right in, taking him down. And did he really need to grapple? He was like literally an inch away. Tim, he was literally an inch away.
Style points are king for Bound. One of the most entertaining players to watch. We'll see. This pipe setup was, you know, that's difficult to break, but they've already rotated the ball towards Seaside. The only problem is FaZe is on top of that rotation, and they're getting that initial kill means that this ball is going to have to be played, but it is not. Oh, it just falls off the map. All 4 dead for Cloud9, but a positioning advantage for them as well, as I believe they do spawn on that A side.
A clean sweep in favor of FaZe Clan right as the camouflage is coming up. That might be exactly what the doctor ordered. Eco and Bound are going to try to break in over towards the Whirlpool side. You're seeing Nick just baiting out towards the Charlie side. This is the side you want to be on where active camouflage comes up, and it's easily stolen by Nick. So back-to-back camos going towards FaZe. It's a 2-point game in favor of Cloud9, but not for long if they don't control these resources.
Pay attention to Falcated. Said to be one of the top 5 slayers in the game. Barely misses his shot. The pancake comes out from Nick, but Falcated is starting the game off 6-3 already. Game very close here, but again, 3 down for Cloud9. And it's Pznguin right here. This life that he's able to play, the fact that he's able to stay alive there is so very important. He's going to try and delay as much as he can while his teammates come off spawn.
Shots ringing out, the melee's in. Falcated able to take down 1, but ends up going down himself. So finally, we're seeing some life being shown by Cloud9. The first 3 down going in favor of them, and the ball time is going in. We know how objective efficient Cloud9 are always playing. They're able to up the tempo at a given moment. FaZe getting the slays, but so far not doing much with it on the objective department.
And I talked about, though, the comfort of Renegade on this roster. You saw Nick on that bottom glass side with the cross shot so that Renegade was able to get that initial pick. They're getting time because of that cross shot, and this is the hold that they exactly want on this elevator side. It's going to take a break from Cloud9 to make sure they don't get a lot of time, but already in the board, they're up by 10 seconds.
Renegade holding down the bottom A side. You're seeing the perfect setup coming in out of FaZe, surrounding all sides of map. Bound does find a weakness though in the defenses. A nice little flank gets the damage onto Falcated, now chasing him down, goes down to 1 shot himself, and Falcated is gonna turn around and put him on a stretcher. Pznguin now tries to pick up the pieces from across the map, but that should have been an easy kill coming in, and Falcated putting Bound down, and so do 2 members of Cloud9 to follow.
Yeah, this is where Cloud9 is going to be in trouble here. They're getting those C-plat spawns when you have the crossfire, and they tried to take Falcated off that glass side, but again, the crossfire comes from bottom elevator as well. It just makes it very difficult for anyone to make it through, and they always have someone replace that. You see Nick up there finally drops down, but this FaZe roster is looking extremely strong right now.
3 camouflages going towards FaZe so far. Cloud9 haven't been able to steal a single one, and FaZe up 80-20, largely because of the resource utility going along with the slaves. They're forced to play the ball towards the mid-map. Bound sneaks away with the kill. Not really much of an exit point that he can go in. His team is on the goal side of the map, and FaZe are cutting them and isolating him over towards the mid. So he's gaining some points over towards that bottom mid, but for how long? Eco tries to relieve some of the pressure. StelluR taking down Falcated. Looks like Bound was able to find an exit route onto the Charlie side of the map. He goes.
That was a great play by Bound. He was able to stay alive on bottom center, understood that he was in a position where he really couldn't show, really couldn't take any damage, waits for his team to get the slays, and then rotates the ball and now able to play it as well. Cuts that lead by a little bit, but FaZe still only need 18 seconds to win this first round of Oddball.
FaZe looking dominant so far in the early game, but Cloud9 have been able to keep it somewhat close. That objective efficiency coming in. Again, despite not winning the Slays battles, they are still 100% in the game off screen. StelluR able to find a big kill onto Spartan. We're seeing Falcated try to get onto the A side, trades out his life to take down the anchor player in Bound. That's going to let Pznguin and Cloud9 known to rotate that ball all the way towards long haul, making the longest route possible for FaZe.
Yeah, you've got to pay attention here. We're starting to see some staggered deaths from FaZe right now, something we did not see at the beginning of this game. You see Sparty right there in the long haul, kind of caught off in terms of timing. They do get that trade, which was going to be huge, especially with that camo coming up. But it's being staggered like that, being isolated, that is going to allow Cloud9 to claw back in this game. And now, 70-84, the scoreline. Cloud9 just needs one more opening and potentially, you know, using that opening to get more time on the board. But Sparty with a big camo pickup.
And as you were saying, that somehow Cloud9 looking good, looking great with the rotation, but they go 3 down and they lose now their 4th camouflage in a row. They are 0-4 with grabbing camouflage, and Spartan used it to get at least one. Goes down himself, but Nick still having the ball not able to be played over towards that mid-map. Slays still going back and forward, somehow able to grab the ball. Does Renegade to put the final seconds on the board. FaZe lead us 1-0.
Yeah, that was a really risky situation there, because if that ball did not get played on the first play, but then of course Renegade was able to quickly get there with movement and get those next couple seconds, but that could have been detrimental for this FaZe roster. But they do close it out in round number 1. And like I said, pay attention to Falcated, top 5 Slayer in the game, 19-9 in this game, leading everyone. Make that 20, just laying out the competition in a great way.
Boo Boo Doo referred to Falcated as the most underrated player in the game, and you are seeing it. Despite always having big names on his team that draw most of the attention onto the squad, Falcated always seemingly outslaying everyone in the lobby, and you're seeing it right here once again. Luckily, the assist going well for FaZe, but 2 down go FaZe. Looks like the third one gonna fall. Cloud9 gonna use this opportunity to grab a hold of that ball, get into their setup. They have to secure those slays before they're able to commit to this.
And the assist column is kind of where I'm focused on at the top right corner of your screen. Nick with 10 assists. I would love to see the damage after this game, to see where he stands in terms of that, because we constantly see him on that crossfire, and that's something that is really strong in Recharge. If you're able to take position and get that crossfire down, you could just put so much damage in and play defense, of course, on a break. But you see right there, FaZe is going to go 3 down, and now Cloud9 have a very solid hold on this setup in pipes.
FaZe did a great job of trying to collect multiple angles to break the setup, but they still end up going down. Cloud9 holding on to the gold side of the map with perfection. You see it once again, back-to-back kills going in favor of Cloud9. The third one is going to fall as well. So 3 down go FaZe. That camouflage coming up, and I need to know who's going to get their hands on it. Will Cloud9 lose their 5th active camo in a row?
Now, you know I'm really big on mental, Tony, so I would love to hear the comms on FaZe right now. I believe we have a FaZe listening ready for us. Let's see what the comms sound like.
Oh, I can shoot him on cross. Yeah, I'm gonna get camo. Watch my here. Yeah, it's 2 here.
I got a god nade in both. They're both one shot bat ledge.
I needed it.
One's top red, one's bat ledge.
Oh, you bounced it off. Well.
I'm on camo, guys. John is camo.
There's a guy on me bottom main, guys. There's 2A. I'm dead. StelluR's weak bottom main.
Can we get the ball to C, maybe?
No, I can't.
Okay,
Just live right now. He's one shot bat ledge. Careful, guys. Batteries. R2.
Stacks on me.
Tax one. Yeah, for him.
Last 2 days. I can't grapple it, guys.
I can grapple it. Yeah, do that.
Needles weak, eco.
Top A. It's okay.
Traded, two dead.
Grapple again. I can grapple it again. Watch my posts. Yeah, they're
Nothing there yet.
Heaven, one guy. Two. StelluR and someone else.
I'm here, Mikey. Get the name.
StelluR and Pznguin, both ho. Yeah, they're playing for me longest. Red steps now and top. Red steps now. Top rib here, bound.
I'm trying to look for him.
I'm trying to help you.
He's looking for me. He's looking for me.
He's on the ball.
I'm Look at me, dude.
Okay.
I'm
trying to look at you.
Bottom BR, Nick.
Nice, dude.
Bottom BR. One's Needles, half wall, StelluR.
Bottom BR. Kill
StelluR
him.
weak half wall. StelluR weak half wall. Last guy, Needles.
He killed me. We cut him.
There's one. They just
Go. I'm living.
You can probably start bringing that.
I got chase.
You're gonna
bottom mid. Chase me. You're fine. You have extra time.
You gotta play soon, though.
Camo box
Corner. I'll do it out. Okay,
watch out, storage.
KotH next to you, I think, sorry.
I hear that. Two bottom BR. Looking at melee on one.
Needles.
Both sides.
Needles down, watch out. Go.
Let's get top red.
I hear, let's get top red.
Red BR trying to kill me.
Run it back.
I think
Nick's on his back.
I hear that.
There's spawning C, guys. Spawning C.
Eyeball?
Yeah, they are. Watch out, Sex. Dead.
There's a guy me top red already, guys.
They could spawn pipes.
Absolutely right here, guys.
I hear that. I'm looking.
I'm nading past you, Nick.
I'm on camo.
Okay, they got some pipes.
We could be seen out, dude.
Red stairs. I'm here.
I have camo.
Nothing C. I'm here.
I have camo.
He's here. Two here, Nick. Drop ball.
Top red weak, Mikey. I hit him 3 times.
Watch out long.
Are you top red?
Take your time.
One guy's one.
Nice, Mike.
Last guy was ball.
Stacks on me. You stacks on me, Mike, on finessing?
I'm here. He's here. One out. Shit.
Bang.
Another active camouflage in the hands of FaZe and another lead going towards our clan here. Cloud9 looking to break the setup, but FaZe are just holding it down so well. Not able to get into the long haul so far. Tim, how do you feel about this FaZe clan so far? I want to hone in on Renegade.
Renegade's playing that entry frag role right now. He's able to get in and get those initial kills to break the setups, but I'm noticing something as well. The IGL role is being split between every player. Every player has really good insight at certain points in the game, and each player is able to utilize their knowledge, and it's working well. Usually you want one IGL, but we're seeing multiple players taking that IGL role, and it seems to be working well.
Well, you know what? We just listened to the comms of FaZe Clan. I think it's only fair that we hop in with Cloud9 to find out how they're going to come back, especially when Sparty is ripping shots with the shock rifle.
Played.
I didn't get a melee. Glass.
No,
not glass. Oh, no. Sniping C stairs.
Hello? Hello, baby.
And one's watching cross.
Everywhere.
On C boxes, we.
Three in
Shocking on StelluR. Back StelluR.
In blue tunnel.
We have to go.
2 shots. Spiral 2 shots.
Dead.
I guess 2.
Alright, game 2 is Aquarius TS. Yeah, we needed to be a little bit more vocal there, Zane, when you transitioned away from.
We got to hear some of the communication out of Cloud9, and definitely you can tell that they seem a bit defeated. You know, obviously FaZe Clan were doing almost, having whatever they want, looking so comfortable. And Cloud9 having a tough time in that game number 1. The question now becomes, can they bounce back?
Yeah, they sound a little bit dejected, honestly, and it's not something you expect to see. These guys have won many lands. They're champions. Of course, the only difference here being Bound, but like I said before, Bound online and Bound on LAN are very different players, and maybe the online is affecting him just a bit here. I feel like he's performing. He's not underperforming, but again, that communication we just heard out of Cloud9 did not sound like a confident roster.
Seeing some of the replays here, and it was all in favor of FaZe. They were just putting in the work. They had the map control. Every single setup they had, Cloud9 was struggling to break them. And although you saw a few, FaZe Clan just had control, and you can tell. I think they were, what, 6-0 with camos, maybe 5-1? I really don't think I saw Cloud9 get even 2 camouflages that entire game.
Yeah, Towie, the coach of FaZe Clan, obviously being on top of those power-ups, I think that's a very important aspect, because those power-ups, especially on Oddball, you're able to break setups so very quickly. We saw Renegade do it multiple times there. And of course, a look at the stats right off the bat, we're seeing Nick, you know, performing well. He's got that, you know, the top assist, but look at the assists on the side of FaZe, Tony. Like, look at that compared to Cloud9 right now. FaZe is being involved in every fight together. You can hear it in the comms. These guys, they just look really solid in terms of chemistry.
Aggression, communication, coordination, and the willingness to play for your brother. Not just playing for yourself, but to keep your teammate alive. It's what FaZe have been thriving on as of recently, and it's why Cloud9 struggled in that oddball. And Cloud9 notoriously a great Slayer team, which is exactly what we're going to go into at game number 2. We need to see them bounce back. You need to treat this game 2 as if it's a game 5, because the last thing you want to do is give FaZe, we're so momentum driven, that much momentum with a 2-0, they might just run over you and go with the sweep.
Now, of course, we see it. I did want to look at Nick's damage here. Very solid damage done and damage taken, being a presence on the map, but the 7,000 damage out of Renegade, like I said, just looking much more comfortable with Nick being on the roster. I just feel like he's settling well into his role, just like he did on Cloud9, and he's looking really good. And to be honest with you, the same as Bound, I think Renegade, a much better player on LAN. This FaZe roster is looking so incredibly solid, in my opinion.
Hold on, Tim, hold on. You say 7,000 damage. I don't put 7,000 damage in 4 hours worth of gameplay. My man did it in just one game, 2 rounds, 7K damage out of the main Slayer, Renegade. And you're seeing why FaZe are so tough to deal with. Let's take a look at the series layout. We know our game 2 is going to be Slayer, and now we know it's going to be on Aquarius. And if you thought Cloud9 were getting punished off a spawn on a map as big as Recharge, just imagine what FaZe are going to be able to do on Aquarius. Cloud9, do not go 3 down. Do not go 4 down. You will be punished.
Yeah, but at the same time, on the same token, I do feel like Cloud9 is a very strong Slayer team. In their last scrim, they only did play 1 Slayer game, and of course, Cloud9 are going to be able, or did win that one, I should say. So, you know, it's not too much to go off of, but in the past and just as of recent, Cloud9 have just been really solid on Slayer. Aquarius is going to be all about those 1v1 fights, all about that individual skill. We'll see if Cloud9 can tie up this series. I think it'll be very important with how they sounded in those comms. This is a big win for them and a big win for their mental as well.
I think it's a good point. I think Cloud9 notoriously a very good slaying team, but when I look at FaZe, you got a Renegade. Tim, when I look at FaZe, you got a Falcated. The damage, you got a Spartan on your team, and don't forget about KingNick. I'm sorry. Aquarius Slayer, I think it plays so well into FaZe, but you know what? Well, I'll humor you a little bit. I'll humor you.
Yeah.
What do Cloud9 have to do on Aquarius in order to tie up the series?
They gotta let Bound move around. I feel like they did that with Renegade when he was on the squad. They let him go free. Bound is that player, that flashy player. He's the movement king, you know, very exciting to watch because of how he's able to make plays and you know, be on that flank potential and essentially clean up kills. I want to see Bound be comfortable, and right now, I mean, I think he's playing solid, but I think there's many more levels to him that we have not seen as of yet. I think one player's just got to pop off, and I've got to point out Pznguin, 12 and 24 in that very last game. If he can maybe step it up, maybe that was a warm-up game for him. If he could potentially catch fire in this Aquarius Slayer, we see a very different Cloud9 roster here, in my opinion.
I think I'm really happy that you highlighted Pznguin, because the advanced analytics will constantly say that Pznguin is one of the best objective players that we have in our league. But your only objective right now is to get kills. Your only objective is to put 50 on the board. So now Pznguin has to turn that objective efficiency now into positioning. And now into, instead of capturing flags or holding onto the ball, I need you to get a hold onto that camouflage, because again, you sat there and let FaZe get every single resource on the map. You do that again in game number 2, and at that point, I'm chalking it. I don't think you'd come back in the series. So now turn that objective efficiency into grabbing hold of those camouflages, grabbing hold of those dynamo grenades, being on top of the resources that 343 have allotted us to have here on Aquarius. Then I'll give you a shot in beating FaZe. Then I'll give you a shot in maybe taking the series.
As one other player, I've got to focus on for this Cloud9 roster, and that's going to be Eco. Frosty named him one of the smartest players in the game, but with the loss of Renegade, he has taken up that Slayer role. We've seen it time and time again. Eco on the top of the Slayer charts, on the top of the kills. We'll see if he's able to do that here. Like you said, the objective of this Aquarius Slayer game number 2 is going to be all about getting those 50 slays. Let's see if Eco can step it up and if Pznguin can do a little bit of the same.
Oftentimes when we talk about Aquarius, we talk about that camouflage, which is very important. Even the heat wave and the dynamo grenades, which show so much love coming up every 30 seconds off a spawn. But those thrust, man, how versatile is having the thrust in your back pocket, Tim?
Thrust is so important. That's why you see almost every single coach timing it. You'll see that the minute that thrust comes up, after 1 minute of it being picked up, you will see that it is timed and it is picked up, and you will constantly see it in the inventory of these players. They've realized the importance of it, and in a map like this where it's all about your individual fights and those BRs and those 1v1 pivs, it's almost essential to get those W's.
Renegade able to get away with the camouflage once again for FaZe, also combining that with a heat wave, one of the most dangerous combinations that we have here in Halo Infinite. Does end up losing a teammate across map. Gonna have 2 to deal with here. The question is, how will Renegade break down the defenses of 2 in this 1v2? His camouflage runs out at the wrong time. Ends up getting the kill though, fighting right back. The nades are starting to fly. StelluR wants to get the pickup on Renegade. Look at the distraction he's able to create active.
Yeah, they've got to worry about him, and they've also got to worry about the other 3 players as well. But Tony, I've got to double down on something you mentioned in the last game. FaZe has been extremely good at controlling these camos, and they're continuing to be good in this game number 2. Cloud9 need to take control of these camos if they want to take control of this game.
Only a 5-kill game though. Cloud9 still having plenty of time to make a comeback here. I see Bound with 4 kills already. So if the rest of Cloud9 could really step up in the slays department and get some assist on the board, it's still possible. It's still early, but Renegade still has the heat wave. FaZe are still on the map, and Cloud9 are still struggling. A killing spree now getting erupted by Renegade. Gets himself a double before finally getting taken down, but clearly the damage has been done. A 15-9 lead in favor of FaZe Clan right as the camo's coming up.
That camo. We'll see if FaZe is able to get another one. I've talked about these fights, these 1v1 fights, but we've got to talk about that heat wave also being controlled. The minute it runs out of ammo, or the minute it is dropped and decayed, 15 seconds, a new one will be up. But only one on the map as Cloud9 goes 4 down once again. A lead 19-11 for FaZe.
Full squad wipe in favor of FaZe Clan, and now they're able to influence those spawns exactly where they want to. The commando is out, not quite able to connect. Maybe a couple warning shots letting Bound know that he's coming, but so is Cloud9, who end up going 2 down, 3 down. Once again, Cloud9 aren't winning the individual battles, they aren't winning the team battles, and damn it, Tim, they may not be winning this game.
Let me tell you something, okay? 23-12 is the lead for FaZe, and Nick just got his first kill. So what does that tell you? When Nick starts to pick it up, this could be extremely scary, but we have to look at that assist column on FaZe once again. It is very important to point out the fact that these players on FaZe are involved in every single fight that takes place, and that goes to a great job communicating, a great job of small talk, and also a great job of pushing in 2s and getting those flanks as well.
Bound finally able to strip the heat wave out of the hands of Renegade and Cloud9, but not before Renegade was able to put up a 10-2 performance. Now Bound gonna use a swap, don't drop, takes down 1, gets himself a double kill, so that's gonna be a little momentum going in favor of Bound and Cloud9. And now you're seeing the split spawners come in, and Bound wants to collapse on actually all of FaZe, spawning over towards the back yellow. Now we're going to find out how FaZe are going to play off of their back foot. It's easier to play off of momentum than this to play off of going 3 down.
Look at the way Nick is playing right now. All 3 members push out from FaZe, but Nick stays behind so we can provide that crossfire. Very important, but it comes down to the slow play right here. Being able to take advantage of situations just like Pznguin did. They've got to do a little bit of that more often, but the problem is you're just getting completely outslayed. And it just, once again, another camo in the hands of FaZe. This is looking ugly. It's looking uglier and uglier by the minute. Cloud9 have to do something soon.
Cloud9 able to put FaZe 3 down. having that map control but not able to capitalize on it because Nick steals away another camouflage. You have two players in front of you. Bound rips out a kill, able to take down one, but not much more of that. Good for Cloud9 to shut down the active camo, but now can they shut down Renegade, who just gets a double kill, clearing out the P side by himself. Once again, Cloud9 find himself 3 down, and FaZe Clan are within just 13 of taking the game.
13's the number, and Renegade almost hitting that 13 mark in terms of kills. Like I said, so comfortable on this roster, and Sparty as well. We know Sparty tweeted out about a week ago that he had a controller and sensitivity crisis. It looks like the crisis has been averted. Looking very strong right now, 11-5 to start this game.
Cloud9, they're trying to do everything they can, but FaZe are just overwhelming them. You're talking about every battle, just everything going in favor of FaZe right now. Cloud9 not having much to really cling off of. Bound and Pznguin do want to overwhelm the P side. They're able to do so. High IQ play for Falcated to try to play his life, and he's able to do so right from the back blue over towards utility and right to the arms of his teammates. So now the prey becomes the predator, and it has his teammates with them like a pack of wolves. You retreat to your pack, and then you come out swinging and hunting, and that's exactly what FaZe do off of the back of Falcated, just staying alive and running away.
You said it before, Tony. You got to trust your brothers in arms, and right now, FaZe is in that position where they're trusting each other. 48 kills, only 2 more remaining, and look at that. They double team on the body disrespect as well on the poor StelluR, who's having a very rough game, 6-14 as of right now, but you said it perfectly. As FaZe is going to win game number 2 once again. That is a great way to start this series, 2-0 already. One more game and they'll close out the series. Cloud9 need to answer back right away.
Active, great for who? Who is it great for? Because if you're a Cloud9 fan, I don't think it was very good for you whatsoever. FaZe are absolutely, they're not just winning. They're dominant, and it is, you don't have to look at the stats in order to see it. Like, look at your eyeballs, look at the eye test. It is telling you that FaZe are just controlling every facet of the game so far in this series. FaZe are looking so much closer to the God Squad that we thought they were going to be back in June. We started hearing rumors of this squad starting to come together. They may not have totally clicked just yet. They're still going to have a tough time, you know, getting out of that top 8, top 6, and going into top 4 and beyond. But I am very happy with what I'm seeing FaZe put on the table, even against the likes of Cloud9.
It goes to show how important mental and chemistry are on a team. Like, you know, a lot of people say it's cringy to say, you know, you gotta be nice outside the game as well as in, but it's true. It really is. Sparty having his duo, having his friend, one of his best friends on his squad once again after going through everything they went through. Now they're together and they're playing phenomenal together as well. And it's just great to see. It's great to see how one player can completely change the dynamic of a team. We're seeing that with the addition of Nick. Just an incredible job. And once again, look at Renegade. 18-7, 14.0 KDA. And again, probably, yeah, 3,900 damage, topping that damage chart once again. Renegade looking really solid.
Renegade is back, but so is the teamwork, so is the chemistry, and with you explaining the duo-ship between Spartan and Nick, it's opening my eyes on why we're losing every game. Tim, I hate you. Active, I'm not a fan. I'll be honest with you. I don't like your voice, I don't like your head, don't like your gameplay, I hate mouse and keyboard. So the reason why we're losing every game is not because we lack the skill, knowledge, IQ, awareness, or even it's the respect that I don't have for you.
Wow.
Wow.
Start getting some respect then. What are you doing? Like,
we'll get better.
Pick up a controller. I'm never going to pick up a controller ever, okay? Mouse and keyboard for life. If you agree with me in the chat, say hello.
Game number 3 is about to be on its way. King of the Hill on live fire. We're going to find out if Cloud9 fighting for their series life right now can claw their way back into it, maybe send this into a game 5, because every reverse sweep starts with a game 3 win. Do Cloud9 have it in them?
Well, if we're looking at the previous scrim stats, like I said, that's pretty much all we've got to look on as of right now. King of the Hill FaZe in that series coming out 2-1 against Cloud9. So not completely uneven, and maybe this is more of a game type that will favor Cloud9's playstyle here. But FaZe have been very aggressive and successfully as well. We'll see how it plays out. Don't leave that sniper in the hands of Renegade, because you're going to have a big problem on your hands if he starts popping off and getting hot.
And that goes for multiple members on FaZe as well, because the same way that Renegade can shred faces, you know Spartan be doing his thing too. You know Falcated knows what to do with that S7 sniper rifle. Cloud9, if you want any chance of winning this, do not treat this sniper rifle like you've treated Camo so far this series. You better grab it. You better keep it out of the hands of FaZe.
It's going to be very important for Cloud9 to start off strong here, and as you can see right away, 4 dead for FaZe. This is exactly what Cloud9 need to come back in this series. All it takes is a full wipe and potential time on that first hill. And of course, Bound in his comfort zone here. He has the heat wave, and Cloud9 in position to get that OS as well.
Putting the heat wave to work immediately. Bound able to steal away 1, but once again, Cloud9 find himself 3 down. There's no way you're going to be able to grab a hold of these resources and even these hills if you're not on the map. FaZe consistently are able to get those kills, and it becomes a very simple game at that point. You're not alive, we look comfortable, we win hills.
Exactly. That's pretty much all it is. But a great kill there by Eco on the Renegade. Renegade had the sniper and the OS in hands, and he did a great job of isolating Eco on that A spawn, but Eco ends up winning a very difficult fight, and that could potentially switch this momentum, but you see FaZe once again getting this hill already halfway through at this point.
Last time these two teams matched up in scrims, it was a 4-1 win in favor of FaZe, but this is where the money counts. We're talking your winner's bracket. Life is on the line, and that's when Cloud9 normally step it up to another level. Surrounding this hill is Renegade with the sniper rifle lining up. The BR comes out quick. The sniper gonna shred on another one. 4 down go Cloud9, and Renegade is starting to catch fire.
He is looking scary right now, and we talk about it all the time, Tony. There's one thing to play for money. There's one thing to play for that W, but it's another thing to play for the intangibles. Renegade obviously trying to make a statement versus previous team in Cloud9.
Renegade able to take control of the tower side with the sniper, but that camo might end up finding the hands of Bound. The final player alive for Cloud9, able to scoop up that active camo. So we're starting to see mistakes coming in now with FaZe. You had them 3 down. That final player cannot steal away the camo.
And they get that first hill, but one thing I want to do is go into a listening with Cloud9 to see what kind of what the communication sounds like. If it's any different than that very first game, we'll find out right now.
Nice to
Elbow,
Kevin.
One
One side weak, just live. Nice.
3 dead, left, your shields. I spawned.
Top mid.
I spawned back tower.
I think he's literally top mid. No, he's not.
Yeah, he naded.
We have heat wave.
I'm sending no with you. There's 2 green, and top mid, and cuts. Green and cuts.
Pushing cuts.
One dummies, and another one top mid.
Let me door 1 shot. Falcated bottom mid.
2 bottom mid. There's got me. I'm gonna die.
2 there, 2 back tower.
Yeah, 2 back tower. Last 2 guys. Last 2 guys are back tower.
Weak as fuck.
Live up. We're
Pushing
pushing bottom mid.
Do not
We're
die,
pushing
John.
Watch the back tower. Absolute back tower, John. Absolute back tower.
Rear post up. Nice, good job.
Nice.
I'm mid.
Shit.
Top mid again, guys.
I'm trying to vent, and 1 top Mingler. I'm making this guy vent.
Hey,
Kill
pillars.
someone.
I got it.
Key door and screens. Key door and screens.
Yo, I'm hitting top house.
I'm looking top mid.
One's green, Nick. Weak.
Mid cut.
Here we go.
I'm power up.
You want to come out?
Tower killed me, or overshield killed me.
Or 1.
Last guy kills, Brain. Go get all the kills. Last guy should be to your right.
He's
somewhere.
green.
Bastard, let's go.
Dude,
Pillars.
Yeah. I'm staying A. There's 1 in green.
15 seconds.
He's going
Zane's
next,
gonna be
John.
spawning up soon.
John's nest.
Yeah.
Come on, Ovi, I
Good
guess.
nest.
Looking dummy door.
He might do the jump.
Zane's on
He's
OD.
there, yeah, he's there.
Gotta be rat tunnels in.
Elbow killed me.
Nice.
About dead.
Overshield's still low.
Ovi's
Top
down.
mid, top mid.
Ovi's down on Ovi. Probably got it.
Yeah, I got it.
In this drop ball. You're
Nice
good,
shot,
Braden.
though.
Don't move. He's gonna be trying to kill you from that side.
He's mid cut to top mid.
I got him. 1 shot
Top
though.
house, 2 of them. 2 top house, 1 in
Go
hill.
for it, Braden. I'll help you.
1 top mid.
screw, I'm
Probably.
screwing.
Obi's there.
Yep, Obi's there.
Guys, C box or something.
Good, John.
Shit, John.
Dude, I didn't get a lunge. He's 1 shot. He's 1 shot in pit. 1 shot in pit.
That's all you, Nick.
Three dead. Last guy keys. Last guy keys to scoreboard.
He's
Front scoreboard.
He's on the block. He's on the jump.
Yeah,
I did it.
They spawned mud.
Keter, watch out, Eco. Watch out, rat, guys. Eco.
I needed rat.
Bigger.
One shot. Two here on me and Nick.
Alright, we're coming.
I died. I did damage.
More when we can help. Three dead.
He wave was down pit or jail, I think.
Top mid half.
I spawn tower. Me and Tyler spawn tower.
One shot.
One shot to you.
The fuck? Gonna be big bear probably.
Close right, Tyler?
Right, yeah, I'm here.
This guy?
I got a melee.
Bottom rat's
Nice,
on a rat.
Nick. Three dead.
Last guy rat.
Alright, stay alive, Nick. You don't have to push that. Mikey's pinching.
Let's just get the hill.
Wait, one shot bigger.
One shot.
Absolute came out. Big door. He's sitting concrete.
It's okay. They're gonna all be here though. He's gonna try to pinch. Do we have nades?
No.
I got eco.
A pot again, Mike.
Big door.
I got him.
Watch out, bound in hill.
Couldn't.
Stellar. Watch out, Stellar.
Yeah, that's that guy, right? All dead?
I'm on new already.
I'm gonna try to get the tower.
One first guy, Eco. NT1 weak, Eco.
Don't die.
Go down.
I'm okay.
Yes, John.
Yeah, I'm one
I'm one shot as well. I'm trying to live.
Already on my stomach, guys.
They're all green sides. Mike needs something plat.
Penguin one shot T plat. Penguin 2 shot T plat.
A box weak, Stellar. I don't think I can get this.
Yeah, get out of hill.
I guys in.
Mud. I died. Ovi's down on the pad.
I'm looking at it.
I'm gonna heat
On it.
I have no heat wave. Cuts one it as well. Nice.
Yeah, bound has it.
They got it. Let's go top first.
I got one.
Nice, good shit.
Yo, fuck the hill guy. Let's hit top mid, John. I'm here.
Other guy. Nice.
Shooting over.
And before we came back in, you heard Spartan yell, "Forget the hill guy. We need to go top mid. We need this Charlie side control," and that's exactly what they're fighting for. And Spartan's able to grab a hold of that sniper rifle. We talked about it time and time again. Do not let FaZe have it in your hands, and they're gonna line up these shots and eventually gonna take you down.
Yeah, FaZe has controlled a lot of the power weapons in this game thus far, but in OS, they're tied 2-2. 2 OS for Cloud9, 2 OS for FaZe, but I've got to mention that communication. We're able to see a stark contrast in communication, listening to Cloud9 first, then moving over to FaZe. FaZe just seemed to have so much more energy, but Cloud9, a lot more energy than we heard in that very first game of the series, Tony.
Yeah, Cloud9 has never been one of those ones that are going to overclog the comms. They're quick, they're efficient normally, but to be honest, that was actually the first time I actually heard some energy coming out of the boys, or maybe they're feeling the desperation, they're feeling the pressure right now. You're down 0-2. Cloud9 want this win. The last thing they want to do is fall into the elimination bracket in round number 2, so they know what's on the line, and Penguin doesn't know to stay on the map.
He can't stay on the map, but Cloud9 do tie up this game right now in Hills. 2-2 is the score, and once again on your screen you see Nick with another power weapon. But this next OS is going to play a huge factor as there's only 1 minute and 30 seconds left. This next OS is important, and just as important is these next few kills.
Yeah, not to camouflage the overshield. Coming up, and Spartan doing a great job of holding down this tower side with the sniper, able to bait out not only the hill, but also the overshield ends up getting himself an assist, and I'm not sure that Cloud9 were able to pop it before end up going down. So yes, it looks like StelluR does have the overshield. They're gonna overwhelm the Charlie side with it. Beautiful shots out of StelluR, but ends up getting green gooed right to the face and neutralize that OS FaZe, able to stop that push.
That green goose so strong, man. Falcated with a big play right there to eliminate that OS completely, and it's all about that value that you get out of overshield, but when you take that value out of the equation, it is null and void. Cloud9 halfway through getting this third hill. FaZe gonna have to look for an opening here, and it might be Eco. But look at the teamwork starting to flourish for Cloud9 in this situation. They're starting to look pretty strong.
Bound able to grab a hold of that heat wave, but he's gonna have to deal with Renegade right in front of him over to the tower side. Couple warning shots looking like me out there in the battlefield. Those gonna have to start to tighten up and connect if they're gonna win this matchup. Just 57 seconds on the clock in regulation, so time may be a factor, and so with his heat wave brings one down to one shot, able to take down Falcated. We finally see a snipe out of Spartan. He's not done yet, lines up the second one, almost able to get himself a double kill, but now having to back down. High IQ to stay alive in this situation, and looking to shred another one.
Oh my goodness, Sparty is looking disgusting. He's got 15 assists in this game, and he's not stopping. A double kill for him, and the opening that's potentially needed. But as I say that, Cloud9 take the hill, but they are 2 dead. Now, a momentary flip on the spawns here as they do spawn at A. The Smarty's got to win this 1v1. He returns to center, but it's not going to be enough. FaZe are 2 down, and Cloud9 maintain control. This hill is very important with only 40 seconds left. This could be Cloud9's chance to come back in this series.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Tim. I don't need to listen in to know what Spartan the dog said after those snipes. It was something like, is Spartan going right at him, FaZe. Getting a beautiful perfect of this Falcated to fight over the overshield, grabs it up and steals it away, pops it right before going down despite being one shot, but Pznguin gets the Achilles spine of backsmack on the overshield player, and it looks like Cloud9 might be able to steal this top mid hill away.
That was a huge kill right there from Pznguin. We talked about him having a rough game, number one. He was having a little bit of a rough game in here, but it's that one play that can literally change the game. And as you see it right there, Cloud9 get their 3rd hill with only 30 seconds left. FaZe are on their back foot.
Double kill coming out of StelluR. A 3-2 lead so far in favor of Cloud9, but that hill first being taken by FaZe, but they end up going 3 down, so not having the numbers to fight off to defend Cloud9 from breaking it in. Cloud9 last time in scrims were 1-2 against FaZe on King of the Hill game types, but they're looking like they might be able to steal this one away. What a time to get hot when you're down 0-2, when you're looking to stare down the barrel of a reverse sweep. Cloud9 are still in the series.
And you ask yourself, Tony, what has been the contrast here? What is the difference of this Cloud9 roster in this game opposed to the other 2? And that, to me, has been the power-up control and the power weapon control as well. Cloud9 are able to take control of some of the power weapons at least. They don't give them all to FaZe, and they're able to utilize that to continue to get hill time. But 3 dead for Cloud9. This might be the answer that FaZe needed.
Bound trying to break through the restraints, but ends up in a 1v2, ends up going down, so now it's FaZe that are dominating this control, looking to tie things up. I said Cloud9 were still in it, but FaZe are about to tie things up and send this into a final hill, maybe an overtime situation. Still 13 seconds on the clock. Cloud9 can clear this out and play the shot clock, but they end up going 4 down, so most likely that won't happen. FaZe dominate here over towards the B-side hill, when Cloud9 now gonna let to punt this hill away and rotate towards what is the final hill we'll see.
The final hill and the final overshield. These next couple kills are important. 2 down for Cloud9, make that 3. That's an overshield for FaZe, potentially. They get 4 dead, and this is where it looks really strong. They can utilize this overshield on this next hill. They're gonna wait to pop it, and this will be the defense they need from Cloud9 spawning on Nest.
1 second on the clock, but we're about to see 2 minutes worth of overtime here. 2 down. Go Cloud9. FaZe still controlling the tower side. Cloud9 need to start valuing their life. They need to get these kills. Do not let FaZe hold on to the sniper rifle and the seaside control.
I have not, I just, every single time we watch one of these FaZe clan members, they just exude confidence. Every single one of them. Challenging those fights is so very risky, but you've got confidence. You can utilize that to gain yourself some momentum as well. It's very important, though, for Nick to stay alive with his sniper on top tower, and he does not.
Is the final opportunity for Cloud9. They need to get the break. 2 down, go FaZe. That forces Falcated to back down, try to make a play with the sniper rifle. Finally, FaZe end up getting wiped. Falcated not able to get that S7 off of the map. Cloud9 finally getting valuable time in this hill, but FaZe are 1 break away from stealing the game, Tim.
You said it right there. The break is all they need. But Cloud9 known to be very good in terms of full setups, and they've got one locked in right here with StelluR on this bridge, and both players at tower as well. This next OS is coming up in 27 seconds. We thought the last one was the last OS, but time has been extended, so this next overshield important. And I talked about it before. Cloud9 starting to utilize these power weapons, and that's what's really brought them back in this game.
Cloud9 to dedicate resources both to grabbing hold of this OS and also defending this hill, because FaZe are just moments away from taking it. Looks like they're able to do so with at least a trade, but FaZe going into the bottom mud flank. Bound ends up going down. 3 members of Cloud9 hit the black screen and FaZe take control. They may have gotten the OS, but as of right now, FaZe knocking them back with the repulse. How do you deal with an OS player? Don't allow him in the game.
What an incredible repulse right there, and what an incredible break as well. Sending 2 players on bottom tower where no one's able to spot them. They get through, they make the break happen, And when everything looked like it was in Cloud9's favor, FaZe answered back. Absolutely incredible job by them. A 3-0 series for FaZe versus Cloud9.
What a play by FaZe. You're talking about the IQ I talked about before, right in the final moments of the game where Cloud9 had to try to control Overshield but also defend the hill. So that's splitting up your resources right there, Tim. You have two players that are trying to watch the hill. You have two players that are dedicated towards the OS. FaZe send two members right down the bottom mid, flank the hill, say no, forget the OS at this point. We're going right into the hill. We're getting our kills. They allowed Cloud9 to steal away that OS, but by the time they broke into the cuts and got close enough to the hill, one repulse is all it took to neutralize the overshield on that hill, and FaZe pull off the 3.
There's where that situational awareness comes into factor, right? A lot of the top players in the world have that situational awareness. It isn't always black and white. Sometimes you need to get that OS. Sometimes you need to just play defense on the hill. And unfortunately, Cloud9 chose the OS, and because of that, they did lose this game. But something that I really want to point out is that they started to control those power weapons. They started to trade on getting those OSs as well. And that's what's allowed them to bring this game as close as it was. They need to do a little bit more of that in the elimination bracket if they want to continue here. But a great showing out of FaZe and a very strong, series by them to kind of stamp their feet into this next one and show that they are a squad to contend with.
I know I'm getting old in my age. There ain't no way Falcated ripped off 9,000 damage. His power level over 9,000. His damage dealt over 9,000. There's no way that I just saw that out of Falcated. That is ridiculous.